Hey everyone, ready to dive into something kind of mind-bending?
Always.
Okay, good. Because today we're looking at this theory. What if UFOs are actually like humans from the future? Time travelers, coming back to check on us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at an interview with this guy, Dr. Michael Masters. He's a biological anthropologist, and he was featured on this YouTube channel, Third Eye Drops. It's pretty wild.
Cool. So this Dr. Masters, what's his take?
Well, he's got this really interesting approach, Like, he combines, hard science with this genuine curiosity about UFOs. It's not just a hobby for him.
No, I get that.
His whole fascination with UFOs, it actually, shaped his whole career.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, he became an anthropologist to explore this whole connection between human evolution and, maybe us becoming the aliens visiting our own past. Kind of crazy.
That's a unique path. You don't hear that every day.
Exactly. And speaking of careers, Dr. Masters actually waited until he had tenure before he started openly talking about all this. He called it his Trojan horse strategy. Pretty smart, huh?
Yeah, makes sense. That academic freedom with tenure, it really lets professors explore some out there ideas.
Exactly. I mean, it's super important for academics to be able to dive into topics that maybe, are a little bit controversial. Without that protection, it's harder to push boundaries.
Yeah, totally agree. So this theory of his, what's it all about?
Okay, so he uses this term extratempesto, which means from the future storm.
From the future store.
Yeah, to describe these potential time travelers, it sounds like something out of a movie, but he makes a pretty good case.
Interesting. How so?
Well, the basic idea is that humans from the future, maybe facing some tough times, are traveling back to study us.
That's a thought. If we had time travel, wouldn't we be tempted to peek into our own past?
Totally. It's like that natural curiosity about where we came from. But here's where it gets really interesting. He looks at all those descriptions of gray aliens, big heads, large eyes, the whole deal.
Yeah, I've heard those descriptions.
He thinks their features actually line up with how humans might evolve.
Really?
Think about it. Bipedalism, walking on two legs, it's super rare on Earth. So statistically, it's less likely to evolve on other planets,
Yeah, that makes sense.
But these grays, they're often described as bipedal, just like us. So it begs the question, are we seeing our own future evolution?
Whoa.
Right. It's trippy. And to kind of illustrate this, Dr. Masters talks about some cases of encounters with these extraterrestrials. There's this one about Mike and Leo Dweck. It was back in the 1930s, these two young brothers reported seeing this huge barn-sized UFO.
Barn-sized UFO.
Yeah. But it wasn't just lights in the sky. They described these beings who spoke English and German. And get this, the craft needed grounding, to discharge static electricity.
Interesting. That level of detail is...
It's pretty specific, right?
Yeah. Not just a blurry light in the sky.
And wait, there's more. When the Dweck brothers asked how the craft could be out in the open like that, without anyone noticing, the being said... time had been stopped within a 3-mile radius of the ship.
Okay, that definitely sounds like time travel.
Right. And that detail, that time-stopping thing, it goes right to the core of Dr. Masters' theory.
How so?
He thinks these extraterrestrials can, manipulate space-time, almost like creating a bubble around themselves.
Oh, okay.
Like bending light with gravity, but on a way bigger scale.
I see. So he's using that to explain some of the things UFOs do that seem impossible.
Exactly. Those reports of UFOs making crazy sudden stops and turns at insane speeds, we couldn't do that without getting totally crushed.
Yeah, the G-forces would be insane.
But if they're warping space-time, it's like they're making their own little reality where physics works differently.
Mind-blowing.
Seriously. And that leads to another part of Dr. Masters' theory that might freak some people out, the idea that future humans are having trouble, reproducing. And that they might be studying our DNA, our genetic material.
Oh, wow. Where'd you get that idea?
Well, it comes up in a few alleged encounters. There's this one guy, Jim Peniston. He said these beings told him they were collecting chromosomes to fix future fertility problems.
That's a little unsettling.
Yeah. But when you think about things declining sperm counts and the impact of pollution, genetic engineering, it's not totally impossible.
Yeah, I guess not. It makes you wonder if we're messing things up so badly that our descendants will have to time travel to fix it.
Right. Are we creating a future where our own kids have to come back and save us from ourselves? That's heavy stuff.
Definitely makes you think.
It does. Okay, so we got time-traveling humans, space-time bending, and a potential baby crisis in the future. That's a lot to process. But hang on, because there's another layer to this. Governments might be involved. And the moon.
Wait, what? Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Tell me more. So, governments, huh? That's a whole other rabbit hole.
Right. Like, are they in on it? Dr. Masters points to some cases where people saw, like, military uniforms, next to those gray aliens.
Oh, wow. Like Men in Black stuff.
Yeah, kind of. Makes you wonder, right?
Yeah.
Are there secret programs studying time travel? Or maybe even, like, working with these future folks?
It's crazy to think about. But if it were true, why keep it secret?
Well, he talks about, like, national security. Maybe they think it's too dangerous for people to know. Or who knows, maybe there's something even weirder going on.
So what's the moon got to do with it?
Okay, so Dr. Masters thinks future humans might be using the moon as a base.
A base for what?
For, like, their time travel operations. It makes sense, kinda. The moon's close, but no one's really watching it that closely compared to Earth.
I see. Less scrutiny. Plus, there's all those mysteries about the moon already.
Totally. Remember, we just stopped sending people there in 1976, even though we had the tech to keep going?
Yeah, why'd we stop?
Some people think it's because we found something there. Like proof of aliens, or maybe a secret base that was already there.
I've heard those theories, but proof.
Well, this is where it gets even wilder. Dr. Masters brings up remote viewing.
Like seeing things with your mind.
Exactly. And he doesn't dismiss it either. He actually thinks it might be legit, like a real way to learn about stuff.
Interesting. Wasn't there a government program that looked into that?
Yeah. He mentions the Stargate program. It was a real U.S. thing. They were using remote viewing for, like, spying.
Wow, really? So they thought it worked?
Apparently. There were some people in the program who had, like, crazy accurate results describing places they'd never been to, stuff like that.
Huh. So something that used to be paranormal is now being used to, like, understand UFOs.
Exactly. It's a total mind flip. Oh, and one of the remote viewers he mentions, this guy, Joe McMoneagle, he actually predicted that UFOs would be revealed as time machines by, like, the middle of this century.
Oh, wow. That's pretty specific.
Right. Imagine if he's right. It'd, like, change everything we think we know about, well, everything.
No kidding. Time travel would rewrite history, physics.
Everything. It's almost too much to think about. But Dr. Masters, he's got this fun challenge for anyone listening to. He put an image in a folder, and he's inviting people to try remote viewing it.
Oh, that's fun. Like a test.
Yeah. The person who gets closest to the image, they win a book and a t-shirt.
Cool. It's a fun way to engage with that idea of remote viewing. Maybe we all have more psychic ability than we realize.
You never know, right? But okay, so far we've been talking a lot about the sciencey stuff. But Dr. Masters, he also thinks there might be a spiritual side to all this. Like, it's not just nuts and bolts.
Oh, interesting. Like a consciousness connection.
Yeah. He talks about how his own thinking has changed. He went from being totally focused on science to now thinking that consciousness might be like a fundamental part of reality.
So we can't understand UFOs without understanding consciousness.
That's what he seems to be saying. It makes you think, like, what is consciousness really? And how does it all fit into this big, crazy picture of the universe? Could these UFO experiences be connected to other dimensions? Maybe.
Yeah, like realms of existence we don't even know about yet.
Exactly. He even suggests that some old myths and religious stories, they might actually be describing encounters with these extraterrestrials.
Whoa, so aliens in the Bible.
Maybe. It's a cool mix of science and, like, spirituality.
It definitely makes you think outside the box.
It does. I mean, I know some people are going to hear all this and be like, nope, not buying it. But I think it's more fun to at least consider the possibility that something really amazing is happening.
Definitely. Even if you don't agree with everything he's saying, just thinking about these ideas makes you question things, It challenges what we think we know.
Totally. So let's bring it back to everyone listening. We've talked about time travel, governments maybe being involved, mysteries of the moon, the spiritual connection. It's a lot. What does it all mean for us right here, right now?
I think for me, it's like, don't be afraid to ask those big questions, even if they sound crazy. Dr. Masters, he's a good example of that.
Yeah, he's not afraid to push the boundaries and explore ideas that, might make some people uncomfortable.
Exactly. It makes you think differently. And that's what makes this topic so interesting. It's like, it forces us to stretch our minds a little.
It does. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, what if? It makes you question everything you thought you knew.
Right. Like, who are we? Where do we come from? Where are we going?
Yeah.
It's deep stuff.
No kidding. And if these UFOs really are, like, our future descendants, it makes you think about what we're doing right now,
Oh, yeah. Big time. Like, are we creating a future that's worth visiting? Or are we screwing things up so badly that they'll have to come back and fix it? It's a scary thought, but it's also like a wake-up call. We have the power to change things. We're not just along for the ride.
Totally. So what can we do besides, practicing our remote viewing and trying to win that challenge?
Well, I think it starts with being curious and open-minded. Question everything. Look at things from different angles and talk to people, even if you don't agree with them.
It's about embracing the mystery, right? Maybe the universe is way weirder and more amazing than we can even imagine.
Absolutely. Maybe, just maybe, by being open to these possibilities, we can create a future where time travel isn't just a fantasy, but something real. Something that helps us learn from our mistakes and build a better world.
I like that. Time travel for good. It's kind of a hopeful thought, right? In the middle of all this mystery.
There's so much we don't know.
Exactly. So for everyone listening, I hope this has, sparked your curiosity. Keep asking questions, keep exploring, and who knows what you'll discover.
The universe is full of surprises. Maybe one day we'll be the ones traveling through time, looking back at how it all began.
Until next time, everyone, keep looking up and stay curious.